Hello everyone, welcome to the first Scuffed analysis. Today I bring good news. We are free. There is no more Sprinkler, and there is no more Reef Slider. This kit will never be used again. Now, I can't really switch tabs and stuff as easily, so you'll have to trust me on this one. But the sub-weapon is Burst Bomb, and the special weapon is Booyah Bomb. So, I guess after they dropped the Reflux kit, they decided not to mess up S-Blast. And I am very hyped for this kit. I can't be loud about it because where I am right now. But I want to talk about it briefly because I think when this weapon came out originally, I overhyped it a bit. And I kind of want to give a chance to redo my analysis of it and then talk about how that new kit fits in. So, before we talk about the new kit at all, I want to talk about S-Blast and cover its both firing modes. Right, outside of firing modes, there are some things worth noting. Its ink efficiency, now that it's gotten buffed, is pretty good. With one sub of Ink Saber main, you get 12 shots, which will probably be the standard, considering you're going to be throwing burst bombs a lot. On top of that, the paint is not very good because unlike range, the explosion doesn't add to it. So you can see here if I go side to side, that S-Blast does have better paint. I have to aim slightly up here. But you can see this explosion does add to the paint total compared to S-Blast, which if it wants that has to basically sack all painting range to do so. So let's talk about the two firing modes, because lag-wise this is the same as range. The short-range area of effect mode has the radius of clash, but it's very slow. This two-shot is extremely slow for this range. The good news is it's very hard to miss, so it's still going to be quite reliable at actually hitting people. So if you do have a solid amount of cover near you, or you're fighting a weakened opponent, or you're fighting together, or you're fighting with some other means of damage, the burst bomb, then you can use this short range mode. But typically, if you're next to someone and they have the ability to kill you quickly, you can't just jump double indirect. Now, since the buff, running 1 or 2 subs of Intensify Action is very effective. I have 2 subs here for reference, but you can see that the spread is very minimal. And so what this guarantees is that if I'm aiming well at the opponent, and I have 2 subs of Intensify Action, I'm pretty much always going to do enough damage for a Burst Bomb to combo. But it can also mean that you get a direct a lot of the time, which is good, because sometimes you'll be going for a short-range AoE, and someone will jump at you, and you'll still want to have the accuracy. Now, the long-range mode obviously has way more accuracy. Of course, this has perfect accuracy, no intensive action needed, there's a bit more direct range than Range Blaster, but a bit less indirect range. Now, the main perk of this is that you can jump, and that it's way faster, the shot travel time to the opponent. Another thing that will come in handy a lot with Burst Bomb, since it'll be a lot faster for you to actually do this combo. Like, your blaster shot is going to hit them faster, and so if you do hit them, they'll be slowed down, trapped a little bit. Much sooner, it'll be easier to follow up the Burst Bomb. However, of course, the long-range area of effect is tiny, and I don't think I properly demonstrated how small it actually is. And I don't think there's a clear way I can, so let me put a number on this. Let's get like... Don't fall asleep on me, computer. Sorry if that was loud. Like about here for this range. It's really hard to show it accurately because it's so small. And then with range, I can like step way over here, and I'm still hitting the dummy. Range Blaster's AoE is 35. Normal Blaster and Rapids is 33. S-Blast is, I believe, 18. Or 1.8, technically, I think. This is 3.5, 1.8, 3.3, and Clash is 4.0, if we're being technically correct here. So, it is very, very small. And that's the main thing about this weapon that I want to talk about. The long-range mode is not something you can use like a normal blaster. Like, technically you can hit people behind cover a little bit, but if you're hitting people with the AoE, most of the time it's people who are in your line of sight. You're going for people in open terrain, And the area of effect is basically, if you miss the direct, you're still going to get some damage off of it. That's the main point of it. And of course, if the area of effect is small, you can keep in mind that the area that does above 65 damage to combo is even smaller. So it'll be very, very difficult to actually burst combo if you're not hitting a burst bomb dead on. So let's talk about the kit. I think a lot of people are... I mean, Burst Bomb's amazing. I don't want to get anyone wrong on this, but I think there is some overhype about Burst Bomb. The main thing Burst Bomb provides is the ability to do exactly what the long range mode doesn't do. Long range AoE. You can throw this at someone behind a wall and probably hit them with 35 damage. You can use it for combos as well, obviously, but the ability of that combo to kill is going to be much lower than people expect. I think if you're going for a full-on kill combo, you might need both your burst bombs, which is a huge ink tank investment. You'll probably only have one... Actually, you won't have any shots afterward. That will be the last shot you have, because it's 90% with 2 bursts. So, it's going to be a big commitment to use it. I do think maybe on zones, when we see like last-ditch effort inevitably considered on this, or comeback more than likely, maybe it'll be even better, like comeback +1 sub of ink saver main. Maybe that's 2 shots afterward, I'm not sure. But for the most part, burst bombs are still a big ink tank investment. To get actual long-range AoE, you now have to throw away 45% of your ink tank. That is a big investment. And so, I think that while this combo is going to be good, it's not going to be broken by any means. To get burst bomb combos, you need to still be extremely accurate. It's just still slightly larger than the direct, of course. It's still more than you're working with before, so it's still noteworthy, but it's not like Grim. It's not going to be as reliable as Grim. And even Grim in S2 is nowhere near as reliable as people think. People are still remembering S1 with Burst Bomb and 80 damage maximum indirects. That's not the case anymore. I think the main utility where Burst Bomb will actually be scary is in close range. Because you're going to jump AoE someone and then just Burst Bomb your feet immediately. Or you'll Burst Bomb your feet to move and then jump AoE. So like I'm on this guy, immediately Burst Bomb, hit him, jump, and shoot. Or I'm like jumping at this guy, I hit him, I Burst Bomb him immediately after. Or Burst Bomb my feet, like paint so I can move. So I jump, AoE, paint, move immediately. Basically, it just speeds up the weapon a lot. Instead of having to get 2 shots, you're having a shot and a burst bomb, and so you're able to be way more mobile with the short range mode. This still comes at an ink efficiency cost. Like if you're fighting multiple people, that's only going to get like maybe one of them, and then eventually you're going to have to deal with the problem that you're out of ink, and you're going to get dove by everybody. Again, the ink efficiency buff helps a lot here. Now that this thing is a 12-shot weapon and not a 10-shot weapon, that's a big deal. And, of course, the Intensify buff helps as well, again, with those combos being reliable and you go for them. It feels like the buffs they gave in that one patch were really meant for not this version of the S-Blast, because those buffs didn't really make a lot of sense with this S-Blast. It wasn't going to use its Sprinkler that much anyway, and short range functioned the same. But now that it has a Burst Bomb, those buffs made sense, and that's kind of why I said we'll see when the next kit comes out for how relevant that is. So let's talk about Booyah Bomb, because we haven't actually had a Booyah Bomb weapon to talk about in a very long time. Fresh Season not Fresh Season, Chill Season added these two, but Booyah Bomb really hasn't been on that much. Forge is seeing only small usage, Gluga only from one tricks, Aerospray basically never. We've seen V-Machine resurge a little bit, and then Hydra's like a super map niche. So, first off, before we even talk about Booyah Bomb, this weapon and S-Blast do not compete with each other at all. S-Blast goes much more for kills. This weapon is more for the long-range AoE. This thing does have long-range AoE, and it has Fizzy Bomb that'll stay active a lot longer. This is the weapon you pick to pressure people behind walls and poke at mid-range. S-Blast is the weapon you pick with aspirations of getting up close to the opponent and trying to take care of them that way. So it's important to get the difference across. These are not the same weapons. Sorry, I had to turn my PC into battery saver. I told you guys this was going to be scuffed while I recorded this, and unfortunately it's the longer kit that I have to record this time and not a joke kit. But Booyah Bomb has gotten a little bit of slander lately. Some people seem to think it's a lot worse than it actually is. If you remember Blot Talk's Zones Only tier list that got posted on Jared's channel, everyone decided Tri-Strike was better than it on Zones, and I firmly disagree. I think that the continuation power that Booyah Bomb provides is pretty good. Now, a lot of people have countered with this by saying that a lot of things can shred Booyah Bomb now. And while that's true, my counter... Oh, nice. 1 second. And while that's true, my counter is that, okay, I also have Tacticooler. So if I pop... I gotta use a different weapon than machine for this. If I pop Booyah Bomb, and I have Cooler, because I'm going in and fighting, and then you use Trizuka, shoot me twice, and break my Booyah Bomb, because this thing drains its duration normally, I still maintain, like, all the Booyah Bomb, I respawn, I paint for 2 seconds, and I have another one. So first off, that's nice, but second off, you still had to use 2 fucking Trizuka shots to kill the Booyah Bomb. Obviously, there's plenty of situations where Booyah gets shredded, and it's definitely worse than it was near the start of the game. There is a lot of shred for it, but it's still special with the ability to be a fighting survivability utility, to give you the ability to sit and stall with HP for 9 fucking seconds, which is absurd, and then after that, you still have a goddamn Booyah Bomb. Which means you now have a blaster that has a GG special for tower. You now have a tool to paint and recap zone that isn't going to kill you. You have a way to pop Rainmaker shields. You have a way to clear the basket on Clan Blitz. You have an actual useful objective tool. And of course, if the Booyah Bomb hits people a little bit, all of your Grim combos become way easier. So, Booyah Bomb is one of the best specials this thing could have. I will say, given that you're in short range mode, you are going to be in more situations where your Booyah might be able to be shredded if you don't take out one of the guys fighting you, so you'll have to be a bit more careful when you pop it, or pop it when you're fighting in long range mode, but like it's still there. It will be really expensive to get. I expect this will be a 200p, maybe 210, hopefully not. This will take a while to get a special. Remember, you have Burst and not Sprinkler. That does actually hurt that. That's like the one thing that's worse. And your paint is this. This is on a 180 weapon right now. And I had some of the slider charged. And I'm painting over empty terrain. Yeah, it's gonna take a bit to get it. I wonder if we'll see some comeback Special Saver. We'll have to see what the builds are for this thing. I'm not sure. I probably want to do a utility one where I don't die outside of Cooler, where I have like Special Saver come back, maybe some extra savers, stuff like that, swim speed, and then a different set with the QR and standard stuff. But we'll have to figure that out for now. So, given that I ranked the original S-Blast 92 as a high tier, this weapon's obviously broken as hell. No, S-Blast 92 is overrated on launch, mostly because I overrated it a lot. And I've talked about it, but I think there have been a lot of people who have not seen that I can change my fucking mind, especially about a weapon that was brand new to the game. And while I was able to get a lot of tournament results with S-Blast, and thus, of course, still think very highly of the main weapon, it is clear now that it has its own share of flaws compared to the other blasters. And I think that as more people are actually playing this blaster, that's going to become more clear. I think compared to the other blasters in this game, there's a lot harsher of a learning curve for this because you have to know which firing mode to use, and both firing modes have very drastic flaws, so you have to play around it a lot better. That being said, I'm still going to evaluate the new S-Blast as a high tier, because I still think the kit is very ridiculous and strong and worth using. But how high exactly I rate it, I have to see when it comes out. I think that this isn't even the best blaster. I would still say Rapid Blaster Deco is better. Now that I've revisited and played this weapon again, I think that this is a bit better of a main weapon, and I think the kit is a little bit stronger. But I think this is definitely up there. I think it might be better than range, just because Wavebreaker is awful, and Booyah Bomb is much better, but we'll see. I know I haven't sounded very excited because it's early in the morning and I'm on a vacation setup, so I can't be very loud, but I am very happy to try this kit out. I'm not sure how much I'll play with my team, given that I'm more of a midline role right now. Maybe it depends on what the Stamper kit kits, because Arashi can probably play that, and maybe he can swap with that for some situations, or I could run it when we have pencil comps. Who knows? But that'll have to be something we figure out another time. As for now, I think that I'm very happy with this kit. It's good to see more actual kits being put in the game. I'm so sorry, Reflux players. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. I hope it was a bit more in-depth and I was able to cover everything about this weapon a bit more. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's hope the other 3 kits get what they deserve as well. We're probably not going to hear about them until Monday, so I'll see you then. Bye.